Hello, hello. I hope you are doing well, that you're having a fabulous day. Welcome to November's Pan That Palette update with the Too Faced chocolate bar. It has been a crazy past couple of weeks. A lot of progress. I had the best of intentions to get a bunch of Get Ready With Me's cracked out, but time literally just slipped away from me with everything that I have going on between I had family in and out of town. I went out of town with friends. My kids have been crazy busy. My husband's been crazy busy. And since I'm kind of the master planner, scheduler, and executor in my family, it's just, I had the best of intentions. So Get Ready With Me's are coming, but this has been a really big month of progress for me with this palette because I kind of felt like I needed to go full beast mode with this palette and not venture out too much into the rest of my collection because we have can you believe it, 6 weeks before the new year. Like what? When did this happen? So I haven't ventured out too much from this palette. I really wanted to stick solidly as much as I can. So let me show you back where I was in the month of October, and then we'll talk about where the palette is currently. All right, here she is. Like I said, a lot of progress because I've just, excuse me, silly colds. Like all these weather changes, I cannot handle it. Like my body cannot physically handle anymore. In Texas, it's like faux fall. Like it'll be 90 degrees one day and then it's like 50 the next. Like my body cannot handle all of these like drastic temperature changes. Anyways, side note. So going into this palette, like I said, I've really kind of put a little bit of pressure, I guess you could say, because I really like to stick to my goal of finishing, but I have accepted the fact that I may be left with some shadow at the end of the year. I mean, even when I look back and pan the Naked palette, it did take me a little bit more than a year to completely finish it off because I did have quite a bit of progress when I started that palette. The Lorac I was able to consistently finish from start to finish in a year, and Stila, I had a little bit of progress on there, but if it weren't like such old shadow, it may have taken me a little bit longer than a year with that as well. So I'm okay with it. But I was definitely feeling it at the start of this month, especially since I've been panning for the Justice League Panning Challenge. And now that that's coming to a close, in fact, that finale is going to be coming up very, very soon, probably tomorrow, in terms of where I ended up with those items. So I've really, as far as chocolate bar goes, I like venturing out and making other looks. I know I've promised you like looks for the last couple of months. I really need to just sit down and film them, but time has been something that has not been on my side lately with everything I've had going on. But I've really just stuck in the chocolate bar for the past couple of weeks to really make some major progress. Like today, I have on Black Forest Truffle, White Chocolate, Marzipan, Hot Chocolate, and Gilded Ganache to go on and complete this look. So like I said, I really wanted to make some progress. In terms of where I physically am with this eyeshadow, I cleared out this section of eyeshadow pan, and so when this side cracked, I went on and repressed it. There wasn't a lot of shadows, so now you can see that I'm going to start really kind of making some major progress because I'm going to be able to hit pan pretty much every time I gently dip my brush into the shadows. So I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be able to finish that. If not by the end of November, probably midway through December, which is good because I need to get back to work on Strawberry Bonbon over here. So Marzipan, I'm slowly working on the bottom section of the pan right here. I've been using it as a lid shade. Gilded Ganache, I've enjoyed. I will go on and still link that olive look in the card above because I loved that so much. Since I've really wanted to focus on Black Forest Truffle over here, I'm wearing it as a liner currently. I've got it on my upper lash line and my lower lash line over an olive pencil from NYX to really bring out those tones and give it a kind of a fall vibe, but a little bit lighter since Black Forest Truffle tends to be kind of a really dark burgundy shade on the eye. I'll also include that original Get Ready With Me that I used back in January with Black Forest Truffle in the card above. Not much has changed except since I've run out of a lot of the shades from Chocolate Bar. I am subbing in my IT Cosmetics Celebration palette that was released in 2014. So you'll hear more about this in the November makeup bag recap coming up in about 2 weeks. So basically kind of similar vibe shades, you know, salted caramel. I was also looking at a highlighting shade from here that I've been using, except this one has more of a gold hint than what I used in January. And then for a little bit I was using the matte black, and then I've used a couple other shades, just kind of like liner shades for a couple days until I went back, you know, full beast mode on Gilded Ganache over here. So this, if I continue using it as a liner on a daily basis, I think I can finish this by the end of November. Fingers crossed, I'm hoping. And then Black Forest Truffle, I don't know. This is probably going to take me into December. And part of me makes me wonder if I need to just make a look using this half of the palette to go on and knock these shades out, since I'm pretty much focusing only on these with November. I am wearing a bronzer, but I decided to go back in with Hot Chocolate just to finish off what is left. I am wearing it as a contour. I enjoy it. It's very similar to the way hazelnut looks on my skin. So if you very, very gently apply it, it does work well for a contour, but be very careful because it can look muddy really quickly, especially if you're contouring the sides of your nose and your forehead and things like that. You might want to fluff your brush to make sure that everything is blended in and not muddy looking and really harsh on your face. That's one thing I've noticed about this shade, especially now that I've had to repress it. It's definitely kind of more of a mess to work with. So I'm hoping to have this finished, hoping by, let's say, the end of November, if not a little bit into December, and then we'll kind of evaluate from there. I'm perfectly fine if I have Marzipan into December, but come then, I'm really going to be focusing in on that Valentine's Day look, so I'll also link that in the card above, where I really get moving on Cherry Cordial, Strawberry Bonbon, and at that point, I'm thinking of Bare Mineral Shadow that I will use in place of what I had for Champagne Truffle, and then we'll see kind of where I am with Marzipan. So that's where the palette is. But I wore Cherry Cordial quite a bit last month. Gilded Ganache was like my main focus. I also made a huge focus on Hot Chocolate. The Black Forest Truffle is going a little bit quicker now that I have pan. I'm pretty much able to make some substantial progress because this shadow is quite chalky. And one of the tips I shared back when I panned this look in January is I treat it as a matte shadow. I go on and swirl my brush in there and I knock off that excess glitter into my sink, and then I apply it as a matte shadow. So as you can see in the crease, it is not as crazy glittery as it looks in this pan. So it'll give you another way if you're also kind of wondering what to do with that shadow, or even another Too Faced shadow, since Too Faced is pretty notorious for putting big chunks of glitter in their shadow, and it can make them very, very difficult to work with. So, but so far, I'm still loving this palette. It's been really, really fun, and I'm surprised. I'm still surprised that I'm saying that because it was such a rough start with this palette. But like I said, this is the ideal set of combination colors for fall if you're wanting a good go-to palette. That's one of the things that I'm really kind of noticing for myself with Too Faced palettes. When you really look at how Jared kind of sets up the palettes and everything, they are quite seasonally appropriate. I mean, sure, you can make them work all year long and do what you want them to do, but really when you look at the color combinations and things like that, like Semi Sweet is really, really good in like the spring, summertime, and the Chocolate Bonbons is really ideal for winter makeup. The Chocolate Bar is really ideal for fall makeup. And then you've got the Sweet Peach that can kind of go, it's more spring, summer, you can kind of take it into fall, but it's not necessarily a winter palette. And then you've got the Clover palette that's kind of like really summery when you look at those colors, because the bright, you know, yellows and purples and pinks, and then you've got, you know, White Chocolate is going to be definitely more of a spring palette. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you really start looking at it in terms of that, it makes a lot more sense of how you can maximize your enjoyment if you're wanting to fall in love with Too Faced shadows, or you're really just looking at your palettes and you're stuck. looking at them seasonally will help make it a little bit more easy to get inspired and just get those creative thoughts going for you on how you'd like to put those shadows together. So I hope that helps. That is about it for now. I've got to get cranking on getting that Justice League Panning Challenge finale, because I cannot believe it has been months of that. I like the Bare Mineral shadows. Holy cow. It's been a lot of work with those shadows. So it's kind of weird and kind of bittersweet that challenge has now come to an end. And now that I'm free from a panning project for a little bit besides pan that palette, I think I'm going to be able to get out those Get Ready With Me's and not feel quite as constrained to this palette. But like I said, 6 weeks, you know, we can get this done. We've got 6 weeks, we can get this done and not feel like it's this Mount Everest in front of us. So take care. I hope that you are still enjoying your palette, that you're having fun shopping your stash. I wish you all the best. Keep working hard, because every little bit of effort that you're putting in and putting into your videos and your photos, it keeps me motivated. Thank you so much for having me as part of your panning journey. It is just, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. And I am loving all of the lessons that you're learning along the way about what you want from your makeup. So take care, and I look forward to catching up with you real soon. See ya.